We'll be meeting on June 12th in Singapore. It went very well. It's really a get-to-know-you kind of a situation. Mike has spent 2 days doing this. We've gotten to know their people very well, and you people are going to have to travel because you'll be in Singapore on June 12th. And I think it'll be a process. It's not, I never said it goes in one meeting. I think it's going to be a process. But the relationships are building, and that's a very positive thing.
Mr. President, what's your sense of what the North Koreans are willing to do on the issue of denuclearization?
I think they want to do that. I know they want to do that. They want other things along the line. They want to develop as a country. That's going to happen, I have no doubt. Japan is involved, as you know, and South Korea is very much involved. We're involved in terms of getting everything. Everybody wants the United States, so we're going to help in the process very much. Without us, it wouldn't happen. But I think that you see a lot of very positive things, including with China. I think you see a lot of very positive things happening with President Xi, who has helped me quite a bit with this. So we'll see where it leads, but we're going to be June 12th. We'll be in Singapore. It'll be a beginning. I don't say, and I've never said it happens in one meeting. You're talking about years of hostility, years of problems, years of really hatred between so many different nations. But I think you're going to have a very positive result in the end, not from one meeting. But you're going to have
you appear to question their sincerity in your letter to Kim Jong-un last week. Have they gone far enough now?
Well, don't forget, my letter was a response to their letter. The media forgot that. You know, the media said, oh, you had a meeting, then you canceled. I didn't cancel the meeting. I canceled it in response to a very tough statement. And I think we're over that, totally over that. And now we're going to deal, and we're going to really start a process. We're meeting with the chairman on June 12th. And I think it's probably going to be a very successful, ultimately a successful process. We'll see. Remember what I say. We will see what we will see. But I think it's going to be a process that we deserve to have. I mean, we really deserve. They want it. We think it's important. And I think we would be making a big mistake if we didn't have it. I think we're going to have a relationship, and it'll start on June 12th.
What can you get done in one meeting? What can you get done on June 12th?
Well, this was a very good meeting. Don't forget, this was a meeting where a letter was given to me by Kim Jong-un, and that letter was a very nice letter. Oh, would you like to see what was in that letter? Would you like? How much? How much? How much?
Why don't you give us the flavor of what the letter?
It was a very interesting letter, and at some point it may be appropriate, and maybe I'll be able to give it to you. Maybe you'll be able to see it, and maybe fairly soon. But really, this was a letter presentation that ended up being a 2-hour conversation.
Why did it end up going so long?
Because we found the whole subject matter very interesting, and because I really think they want to do something, and if it's possible, so do we.
What did he ask you?
I think all we're going to do is be there on June 12th, and we're going to see what happens. Mike has been dealing very well. They have a very good relationship with Mike Pompeo, our Secretary of State. It was actually very interesting because this was literally going to be the delivery of a letter, and it ended up being a 2-hour conversation with the second most powerful man in North Korea.
Did he ask you about levels in South Korea?
We talked about almost everything. We talked about a lot. And we talked about sanctions.
Did they agree to CDID?
I don't want to say that. We talked about a lot of things. We really did. But the big deal will be on June 12th. And again, it's a process. It doesn't go. We're not going to go in and sign something on June 12th. And we never were. We're going to start a process. And I told them today, take your time. We can go fast. We can go slowly. But I think they'd like to see something happen. And if we can work that out, that'd be good. But the process will begin on June 12th in Singapore.
Do you believe Kim is committed to denuclearization?
Yeah, I do think so. He'd like to see it happen. He wants to be careful. He wants to be, you know, he's not going to run and do things. But I told him, to be honest with you, look, we have sanctions on. They're very powerful sanctions. We would not take sanctions off unless they did it. But the sanctions are very powerful. You've seen how powerful in other ways. You're going to see how powerful sanctions are when it comes to Iran. You see what that's doing to Iran. So we have sanctions on, and at a certain point, I'll tell you what, I look forward to the day when I can take the sanctions off of North Korea.
You talked about human rights today, and do you expect to talk
We did
about
not talk about human rights.
Do you expect to talk about it on June 12th?
Could be, yeah, could be. I think we probably will, and maybe in great detail. We did not talk about human rights. Yeah, we did. We talked about, yes, they asked about sanctions. Excuse me?
Maximum pressure over.
It's going to remain what it is now. I don't even want to use the term maximum pressure anymore, because I don't want to use that term. Because we're getting along, you see the relationship, we're getting along. So it's not a question of maximum pressure. It's staying essentially the way it is. At some point, hopefully, a deal for the good of millions of people, a deal will be worked out.
Mr. President, how would you describe the state of relations now between the United States and North Korea after your meetings today?
Well, I think they're okay. I mean, I think they're good. Is it like the relationships we have with a couple of other countries? Probably not, right? But I think the relationship we have right now with North Korea is as good as it's been in a long time. They had no relationship under the previous administration. There was nothing. It was nothing. They were explaining. It was just a nothing. Nothing was done. Hey, this should not be up to me. This should have been handled a long time ago. This got to a very critical point. This should have been handled many years ago, not only by President Obama, but by other presidents that preceded me. This shouldn't be done now. This should have been done years ago.
You plan to offer